who praised and really enjoyed the first Terrifier film and was anticipating this one, I literally have no words. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Terrifier 2. Now this is a brand new horror film available in theaters, and it stars Lauren LaVera and David Howard Thornton. Now before we get into all things slasher bloody goodness overkill, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss Terrifier. The movie Terrifier was absolutely a good thing, but too much of a good thing can become bad.
Go back.
You guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me. Let's get into this movie. Now, of course, I would like to start off with some of the things that I enjoyed about this film. Just like the first movie, the best thing that this movie has to offer is Art the Clown and David Howard Thornton's performance. He is so committed to this role. He is so original in it. He's very enjoyable. It's really like fascinating to watch, and you never know what he's gonna do next. As a mean clown, he's very expressive and very scary, also really funny, even though he never says a word. And it's something really unsettling about that. And courtesy of the last movie, we learned that he is more than man. He's supernatural. I think in the first film, all of us were just waiting, like, can somebody just stab him, just shoot him? Clearly, this is just a man dressed up as a clown. He is able to come back time and time again. That just adds a totally different layer to the second movie that we didn't have in the first one. Along with him already being really whimsical, funny, a murderer, a slasher, a cannibal, and a mutilator. What more do you want? Now, I do understand that a lot of people are just not a fan of the gory, gruesome, heavy torture, old school slasher-like horror that we have here, but I am absolutely a fan and can find art in something like Art the Clown for the reasons just like that one. This is paying homage to all the good slasher movies that came before. There are so many different elements here of things that you probably enjoyed from movies in the 70s, in the 80s, when brutal violence, lots of gore, lots of blood was at an all-time high. We spend, a lot of time with the final girl. Everything here, from the lighting of this movie, the choice of home that our family lives in, the style, the appliances, the music, the score in this movie, all scream 80s old school slasher. The frantic cursing over the top parent, most of the time a mother that you're really trying hard to like but having a hard time because she's getting on your nerves. Classic 80s and 90s movies moms. Art's workshop and how he chooses to chase his victims, how he chooses to put his weapons together to where he has a whole bag of tricks, literally an arsenal of things that he could pull out. Like, these are old school staples all the way down, from the setting, the music, to the practical effects that are used here. I, for one, as a horror fan, can appreciate all of those things. Speaking of appreciating those things, the last thing that I really liked here was the writing, the directing, the producing of Damien Leone, who also did the first film. Here you can tell that he has opened this movie up so much, for good and for bad. We're gonna talk about the bad. But this movie is way more open than the first one. In the first movie, we were just kind of stuck in that one location, which I absolutely did not mind. But here we travel and do so much with art, and we're gonna talk about how long this movie decided to go on. But I did like some of the directions that he took as far as our characters. Our characters feel a lot more developed here. I feel like I know them more than maybe we knew the first victims in the first film. I love love how they tied this movie in with the first one, kind of picking up where we left off with Art the Clown pretty much reanimating, coming back, tying in, our first final girl victim turned killer from the first movie. That was nice. And also we can tell that the budget, the budget has been up. The visuals, the storyline, we are going a bit further with, what Art the Clown is doing, where our story could go, and how elaborate these kills are. Say what you want about the franchise, about, these movies, but he is pretty much funding and raising money like on a shoestring budget to do these films. Like, it is really, really commendable that we get some of the bigger budget, horror or not, movies that just don't give you anything. And here we have somebody who can't even get $1 million for a film, shit, $500K for a film. We're working with the likes of maybe $300,000 and still giving substance. We're still giving kills, still giving gore, still giving imagination. What other film are you gonna go to where you literally have this massive, crazy serial killer, slasher, clown go into a laundromat, take off all his clothes, get ass naked, do his laundry, talk to his little imaginary friend, and then resume kills once his clothes are clean again? Like, you are not gonna get that anywhere else. And those are things that I can appreciate about what he has to offer. And then there are other things here that make me feel like I really wish you wouldn't have got a dime more than what you got last time, because if this is what we're gonna do with getting a little bit more money, I don't want to see you get $1 million. Getting into the things that I did not like about this movie, let's just start off with the storyline. Though I liked the writer opening up the world here, the new characters that we introduced and the way that we tried to, not only focus on them, but tie them into Art the Clown was terrible. It absolutely made no sense. The first movie, very run of the mill. Hey, boy meets girl in, the little pizzeria. We smile at them, give a little kiki ha ha. The chase commences and, the body count rises. Very, very simple. Here, we go all off into a totally different, very 80s, but totally different Xenon warrior princess, we don't really know what's going on here adventure. We meet an older sister, younger brother dynamic. We meet kind of a broken family. We have a mother. The father has passed away. She's trying to control her children on her own. We have the sister. She's clearly, really handy, very creative. And then we have the brother. It's presented to us as if he's, maybe a little off, maybe a school order, obsessed with serial killers, something's wrong with our brother. And then once we get to know his character more, we see that there isn't anything really wrong with him. He is obsessed with, serial killers, and maybe even a killer like Art the Clown because of a book that he maybe found from his father. With not only this Xenon warrior princess sketch for his daughter, but also these different massacres and murders, and also clippings that have, some type of connection with Art the Clown, and even a very clear sketch of Art the Clown, giving us the representation that, at some point these things are going to matter, mean something, and tie together as to why Art is treating these two particular victims different than we've seen him treat everybody else that he's murdered so far. We're not just going for the straightforward murder, death, kill, toy around a little bit. No, we are going out of our way to set up the younger brother to look like he is doing certain things at school, doing things at home. We are, sneaking in apparently to light candles and set wings on fire. Like, it's this whole elaborate plan. And I'm like, okay, I'll sit here, I'll go through it. It's kind of different. This must mean something, right? Absolutely didn't. I thought for like maybe all of 2 seconds, hey, maybe Art is their father. This would, explain the son trying to, attach himself to it, wanting to dress up as, Art for Halloween. The sister, we never talk about dad. The sketchbook, dad lost his mind. He threw his body, set on what we never found it. Like, okay, that would make sense. hey, maybe Art is trying to bring them in, to the family fold. Y'all come on, we gonna run around as a joint unit and do some killing. I don't know. I was just really trying to figure out how all of these things really connected when there really weren't any connections to be made. We do have this running theme within the family of, you're strong. Dad would have been proud. I made this armor, the sword situation. it meant nothing. It meant nothing. It was like our writer Damien here had a lot of ideas that he really wanted to put together, and he didn't know how to wrap that around the killer, the Terrifier. This whole warrior and her kind of being a regenerator herself, being able to come back after being slaughtered, that's a whole different movie. That's a whole different movie. This movie was so fluffed and went on for so long in comparison to the first movie that was only an hour and 26 minutes versus this one that was 2 hours and 28 minutes, for us to not feel completely satisfied and like I understood exactly what was going on. Art's agenda, his agenda is always his agenda. I'm gonna understand that. Hey, I'm a clown, I don't speak, I like to chase, I like to toy with, and I'm gonna pick, something out of my bag to eventually torture and kill you with in the most gruesome way, all while having the time of my life. Completely understood. I might even eat a piece. Understood. This whole additional side, it didn't really do anything for me, and I was like, man, why did we have to complicate it? Because once we start to include the friends, the friend who, oh, I put a little Molly in your drink, like the kill off people, the people that we're gonna kill, that's when we get back into what the slasher is about, the teens, the drugs, the promiscuous sex. Oh, like, are you really a good friend? That question mark. Those people that we are eventually gonna have die. Just like the friend who didn't know when to call it quits in the diner in the first movie. Oh, let me get a picture, who was eventually sliced in fucking half. Those are, regular horror movie tropes, but here we kind of try to get a little too creative and make it something else. And I really wish it all would have came together. I was very intrigued, by her dream-like surreal sequences where we have her going, to the clown cafe, and there's this whole, it looks like she's, not only worried about her brother, it's almost like they gave off the impression that her as well as the father were receiving like some types of visions, like, oh, I knew you were going to be wearing this armor, oh, this cereal, the young boy, like this is all a representation of my brother, an omen for things to come. Like it was a whole lot going on, the whole Pippi Longstocking pigtails and the consumerism, and it was a lot, but it just didn't come together collectively to make this a really good story. Those things were thrown in and just thrown at each other, as well as art, the addition of this young girl, kind of this imaginary art friend who pops up and assists him in some types. So you even have him, have her take the head at the end of it. Like, I felt like that was a throwaway. Like, we didn't need her. That didn't need to be there. Art is more than enough presence all on his own. We don't need somebody else there. Lastly, the main thing that this movie suffered from, outside of, some of the bad acting, since when is that considered acting? Like, if I had to see one more person, like, oh, I didn't know, get out, get away. I was not a fan. Outside of those things, this movie going on forever, the storyline being really congested with all types of things, this movie definitely suffered from all of the overkills taking place here. Like, wow, right? Wow, like, now I am in no way a prude. I am very much so a horror fan. I don't know what all the commotion is about. Like, oh, they were vomiting, fainting, everybody was passing out in the theaters. Okay. I'm definitely not going to do that, but I am not above recognizing when something is just really, really too much. If you saw the first movie, you should know, hey, a roundabout of what to expect from a Terrifier movie. But this here, wow, like, it went on forever. Like, the writer, director, Damien Leone, did not know when to say when. Not with the runtime, not with the overkill in the scenes, not with all the good, like, it was too much. Like, I think that he maybe, when I don't, hey, I'm not a writer, maybe misunderstood what us as an audience really appreciates about art. Well, I know myself, it's not just so much just the kills. I love the kills and how gruesome they are and how throwback it feels, but the things that I love about art is, that downtime we get with art. Him in the Halloween store, you know, trying on glasses, blowing the horn, like I like those things. I enjoy those things more than anything, or just those elements of, you know, we never know what he's gonna do next. That first movie when he just out of nowhere pulled out a gun and shot homegirl, I was like, wow, you use a gun too? We never see a slasher pull out a gun. I thought that was the most creative shit ever. Here, he pulls out a gun like at least 4 times. Like, it lost all of its sauce. And even though those first kills in the first movie were, you know, gruesome, it's hard to describe because they still had some nuance to them. Like, it's first of all, like, really? Yes. The movie knew like when to turn away, when to show gore, you know, when to cut and go to something else, when to, you know, maybe have overkill with one character and maybe do a little less with another. Like, I think that even though, first of all, there were more kills in this movie, I believe that there were more kills in the first movie than this movie, but if you ask anybody, I'm sure you would feel like it's the totally complete opposite. I think the kill count for the first movie was like 10 to 11 people. Here it's like pretty much 7, and it feels like it was 60. There was so much blood in this movie. Like, we didn't know when to say when. I think even though there are those gruesome aspects and those, oh my goodness, from the first movie, the kill that you remember the most, you know, him sawing her in half and all the blood, like, it felt like we got that intensity with every single freaking kill. The bedroom kill? Why? Like, we literally, it's like, all right, you cut him up. Don't pour salt on the wound. No, we go overkill in this movie. We literally and physically throw salt on the wound, bleach, rubbing alcohol. Like, it's like we went into torture porn territory. And I don't go to Art the Clown for that. Like, I'm with, you know, the gruesome kills, him, you know, maybe so much, maybe taking his time, but it never put me in the mind of like a Saw movie or Hostel. It got real hostile. All those Passion of the Christ ass lashes homegirl would see forever, and at the end of the movie, like, things were just going on and on and on. I was like, this is too much. Like, not only it didn't make me feel uncomfortable, like this is too much blood. Like, I was like, we could have been doing something else. This could have been like a really good story. We could have been presenting new things with our character, tying in, you know, while we have this warrior princess over here, and, you know, the Terrifier. Why is he taking so much care into capturing the brother, trying to lure in the sister? Like, what dynamics do you have with this family? Like, time could have been spent there, but no, we are, you know, shooting the mother in the face and doing, like, it was just too much. I was like, man, I was really anticipating this movie for it to end up like this. Like, I really wish I wouldn't have gave him no money. Like, maybe if he's, you know, still maybe had, even though it's still very much so a shoestring budget, but honey, I guess a couple of more 100Ks just, you know, sealed the deal as far as what we wanted to push, like all the way to the very end. We have, you know, the victim from the first movie, you know, turned crazy, and the psychiatric ward that was very much so giving Halloween. I love all the little bombs and the little, oh, that's very Halloween. That's very Nightmare on Elm Street. That's very, you know, Jason. That's very The Prowler. Just different stuff that we get here to just go, I really miss these type of things. This movie makes me remember what I really love most about horror movies. But the overkill, like the birth of the head in the end, like, I was already tired. I was already ready to go. Like, it was just all too much. And I was very, very disappointed that we took something that I felt like was so old school, but still at the same time so elevated, and just turned it into dusty, low-hanging fruit. Threw it on the ground, threw some salt on it, some Clorox, and watched it bleed to death. Like, I need him to pull it back. Well, you guys, that was my review for Terrifier 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop down and tell me what you thought about my review and what you thought about this film. Do you think these films are the grossest, grimmest shit in the world and you would be caught dead watching them? Or do you enjoy them like myself and find certain things that you love about them outside of all the gruesome things? Like, if you are, watch the first one, you know, don't even jump and try to watch the second one, because this second one was a whole different thing. It's like we tried to maybe outdo the first one so much when the first one worked really, really well. Because it's like, if this is what we're doing in the second one, what are we gonna do in the third one? But I look forward to reading you guys' comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because it helps me. I see you guys next time. Bye.